very much for inviting me. I was prepared for speaking in such a big hall, so I don't know if it's okay if I'm either sitting or I'll be wandering around and talking without any mics and amplification. So probably if I stay here, can you hear me when I say something? Yeah, okay, the acoustic is good. So, because I'm like one of these, you know, hyperactive children, so I don't like to stay in one place, so I can either sit, which is I see not very Berkelian thing, you know, you need to be very informal here, or I can, like, you know, stay, and when I stay I need to walk around. So, you know, probably some of you know that I already gave a number of talks, speeches, lectures, name it, in different American universities, among them like recently Harvard, Columbia, and Fordham, and I'm also like considering some other possibilities now, but it's a great honor to be here today because it's the first West Coast university I'm talking in. I've been studied at Stanford University for a short time in 2008, although it's a completely different kind of institution, as you already know. So this new experience gives me the desire to speak. I'll be based on what I already told to other guys in other universities, but probably I'll say some new things as well. So my friends who asked me if I can speak today proposed the topic of today's lecture, and actually I haven't approved it. So when I saw the topic, it was too late to approve it, so it was like, okay, tell us how Ukraine can become a prosperous country. For God's sake, I don't know. It's very complicated and very serious question, so I'm not daring enough to say that I'm the only one who knows what to do. But in my humble opinion, I will, I think that I know some things, and I'll bring up some issues which probably can be suitable and interesting for you, especially when we all talk about and focused about nowadays politics in Ukraine. So probably in Q&As you will ask me something about current politics in Ukraine. What I'm going to talk, it's not about current politics at all. So I don't expect from me in my speech names of politicians, like, you know, current events, because I think that the key ideas I'm gonna share with you are lying beyond all these names and all these events. They're much broader, much deeper, and much more important, once again, in my humble opinion. So, what is a goal for Ukraine? Because before we define a goal, like the argument can be relevant. As ancient Greeks said, before we started argument, we need to define things. So what is the goal for Ukraine? I define it probably a little bit too materialistic, or as some in the East say, too much American way, but I will say the only relevant and tangible, you know, goal we can talk about is to make Ukraine a prosperous country. Because, you know, we can say to make Ukrainians happy people, but it's a very subjective thing to say happy people, because happiness is, you know, very subjective substance and subject, and when you talk about prosperity, many people, like, you know, they always think of money, of material issues. Probably you're mostly right, but so what? At least we can measure these things. So, and at least we need, before we become really happy, I think we need to fulfill our basic desires, which also money and prosperity gives you. So what is it to become a prosperous country, and how do you think we can build a prosperous country? I'll come back to history. I like history. I hope you all guys as well. I think Berkeley is also a distinguished liberal arts place, so you talk about history a lot. first idea how ideal state is to be built was brought by famous ancient Greek philosophers. First was Plato, who wrote his book Republic and who proposed that actually he was analyzing many things, and in his dialogues of Socrates he explains us that like both tyranny and democracy are bad, so it should be something like a power of aristocratic wise men who like impose their wise things and their power to other people and to society. And so he proposed an ideal state can be built by ideal people top down. Contrary to that, his most famous pupil and sort of disciple, Aristotle